Thank you for joining us today on 344 Live, where we support sellers and job seekers. Please take a moment to support Lisa Renee Pence's Think About Things Differently job search. You got it. That's a personal branded job search, which proves she's a different kind of thinker. Okay, so we're officially changing the name from 344 Live to 346 Live because apparently sometimes I forget to push the go live button.
There's so many different things you have to do. Yeah, there's so many things you have to do to get this thing going.
Man. You know, I don't know. We just we do our best out here.
You're a host and a producer at the same time. You know, that's difficult.
Host and producer and original thinker of how do you make stuff happen on your own without a budget in the wild on a Friday afternoon. Okay, so we got to revisit some things because we were talking and nobody was here because I didn't push the button. So basically, for all you people out here who wondered what we were talking about, what makes us so happy and laughy, we sent our kids afield. Okay, there you go. They're gone. We have children of about the same age, give or take, and yeah, they're old enough to go other places without us. Thank you very much. And we're going to see each other for the first time in real life on Sunday afternoon, evening-ish. And that's going to be great, but no closer, you know, even though we only live like, 90 miles away, we're going to be in Arizona. So there you go. Flights and flights and flights. All right. We are not here to talk about our personal lives. We are here to sell some stuff. Now, we're probably going to go a little bit over 4 p.m. because I spazzed and it's Friday. And yeah. That's just the way it works.
Everybody, hey, you can stay around for 2 more minutes, I'm sure. Yeah, you got.
Yeah, we can stay around. We can stay around for 2 more minutes, and that's what we're going to do. All right. So, Jason, for everybody who's still here with us, you are the VP of Marketing for Metadata, and help me. So, Metadata is a SaaS platform that helps B2B marketers buy advertising more efficiently, get more out of it, waste less money, right?
Yeah.
And that's it, right? And you've been doing this. You've been with Metadata for quite some time. So
yeah, I started 3.5 years ago or so, right when we were, man, the product was really, really, really immature when I started. I was probably hire number 12, 11. I still don't know exactly the number, but we're, you know, our core part of the platform is all around advertising, B2B advertising, but we're building a bigger thing we're calling a marketing operating system for B2B. And
I noticed that change.
And that'll ultimately have several different products in it. Today, we've got 3 products. One is our full kind of advertising part of the platform. One is a cut down version of that. It's just around audience targeting. And then late last year, we acquired a company and we do website personalization as well as a third product. And so other products we see us build in the future will be around attribution, budgeting and planning, and probably some things around the organic side as well. So we're not so tied up with ad spend.
Okay. So I like to start this out by saying, all right, so who's your ideal customer, and really what is that customer suffering from? Like what does their day look like, and what problem are you trying to solve?
Yeah, I work here because I was first a customer. And so when I first found out about Metadata, I was a marketing ops, so I grew up in marketing ops. And so like very technical marketer. And I heard about Metadata in my kind of sphere of network and took a look at it. And I was like, oh, I've tried to build several of these things that Metadata is trying to do in my career at these bigger companies. And I just was never really able to get there. And so ultimately what we're trying to do is, we know that there's like B2B marketing is wrought with technical, mundane, repetitive tasks that we all have to do, right? So like just speaking with ad channels, LinkedIn, Facebook, they do very similar advertising, feed advertising, et cetera. But I got to go into 2 completely different platforms to set those up. And most of that action is the same. And then I've got to do the same thing with combining data and trying to figure out how to optimize. And that all can be done better usually with a computer. And so we're trying to use AI, machine learning, more advanced computational like capability to reduce all of those tasks and all of those kind of things off of the marketer's plate. So that's where we're heading. Today, we're really focused around advertising.
Okay, cool. So do you want to want to crack it open and show us what this thing looks like? Give us a feel for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
That? All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm going to talk through really quickly to give an overview of our main platform. So this is just the Metadata platform. This is a dashboard. Everybody usually has a dashboard, but what you can see here is we've got a lot of combinations of metrics and things that you might not be able to get from one platform. So here are a lot of campaign stats, all the things like impressions, but all the way, we don't get, leads or clicks. It's all the way through influenced opportunities, triggered opportunities, pipeline amounts, one opportunities, et cetera. So we really go all the way down through the funnel. And when we're talking about campaigns, we're using all of this data and all these integrations that we have to automatically optimize experiments to really what's driving the deepest revenue metric possible. We do that by starting by integrating all of your tech stack. So here you can see where that kind of integration point between your ad channels and your tech stack. So things like we connect your marketing automation, and we map all these fields so that we pass leads as they come in from campaigns to your marketing automation, but we also get data back when they become an MQL. We know their score, the MQL date, so we can optimize to things like this. And then the same thing in Salesforce, map to Salesforce. Oh, I love how this always does this. Map to Salesforce so that we can optimize campaigns to what's driving pipeline and revenue that's sitting in Salesforce. GA, so that you can see the impact of campaigns on website metrics. And then these are the channels that we're currently running in, with Twitter and TikTok to come probably sometime this year. So Meta is both Facebook and LinkedIn, or sorry, Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn. Right. Google Ads right now is Google Search, not YouTube, but YouTube, we can grow our audiences to YouTube. Hey puppy. And then
she's there. Okay.
My dog might start barking.
So attribution is one of those things that B2B marketers love to argue about, right? Endlessly, right? And my gosh, every other minute on LinkedIn, somebody's posting about the frailty of every attribution model. But it sounds like you really feel like, metadata's got that dialed in.
Well, I would say we're just very flexible. So we have 5 different attribution models that our customers can choose from for how to attribute the activity to, like, how do I attribute campaign activity to a closed won deal? Do I do it on first touch? Do I do it on last touch? Split evenly? So we have all these different models. And then on top of that, if one of our 5 models doesn't work for you, we will build a custom attribution model for you. So what we're trying to do is make sure that whatever shows up in here matches how you're already reporting on it in your other systems, so that we're not saying, well, metadata says this and our internal systems say this. And so we're very, very flexible on attribution. Because you're right. I'm not a big fan of attribution. And so for me, it's like the simpler, the better. But a lot of our customers are really tied up in their own attribution system. And so we want to match it.
So how do you deal with that? I can't remember what they're calling it these days, but this custom open field attribution where, the end user fills it in.
Self-reported attribution. Yeah. We're not able to use that right now to optimize to, because everybody just types in like exactly what they, you know what I mean? Like a string of characters of like, oh, I heard about you on this podcast or whatever. Internally though, our own marketing, we definitely track that, just so that we really know. And we can also then tell the difference between like digitally, what does it say? And then just kind of like from the horse's mouth, I guess you'd say, what are they saying? And we can compare those. And oftentimes there are differences, but really here in our platform, we're really trying to attribute paid advertising, you know what I mean, to the downstream effects.
Okay, cool. So basically I can go in here and I can run all my ads DIY from your platform, manage spend, deal with attribution, and self-reported attribution aside, I can kind of keep track of that if I'm getting inbound on my website or with sales somehow, the referrals are coming in, whatever. So I can kind of track back and sort of the eyeball test, if you will, figure out where stuff is coming from. So, that's that. I mean, it sounds really cool. And, obviously I'm a participant in the, metadata's community, the demand community, and I get to watch a lot of these conversations that, that they're having about various, demand topics. And, it's really fascinating. And frankly, it was the moment I discovered that I'm not a marketer, right? I'm I'm a sales guy, right?
I don't know. You sure seem like one.
Well, well, if you saw the number of people we have on our show with us today, you'd know that. Guess what? I'm all about the one-on-one, right? I'm all about the conversation that you and I are having right now. And Yeah, that's my main driver. So I do want to ask though, because as I have looked at where metadata sits and all of the cacophonous noise that we deal with in our various markets, one of the very first things that I struggled with was trying to figure out how does metadata and Sixth Sense or Terminus or demand based, because they kind of feel like they overlap a lot. Yet
Yeah. Yeah.
there's this claim that, oh, well, you can use Sixth Sense and metadata together. Okay, that's cool.
Yep.
So explain that to me. If you break that, help me understand like where you start, stop, and that overlap.
No, it's a good question. And it's something we dealt with more earlier on than we have more recently. We put out several articles because we've always known we're different. But our initial problem was before Gil, our CEO, had a marketer, me. He just put us in the category of ABM because he was like, oh, this ABM category is getting a lot of traction right now. We kind of look like ABM. We're targeting, marketers, or not, we're targeting people, we're advertising to them, and so let's just call ourselves an ABM platform. And so we did that. And then when I got here, I was like, no, we got to get out of this because I think of ABM is like a luxury item. And so I'm like, I don't want to be a luxury item. I want to be something that people actually need. So you mentioned the Sixth Sense case. That one, and I actually have bought Sixth Sense. So when I was working at Tableau, I bought Sixth Sense. I brought it in. It was a sales tool. And I still think of Sixth Sense as a sales platform, not a marketing platform. And so, and when we interviewed a lot of our customers that use Sixth Sense and metadata together, they're like, yeah, we use it mainly for sales and account scoring. Really good. They're really good at account scoring, but they're not good at advertising. They're not good at optimizing advertising to what's driving revenue. They're really limited on the channels where you're advertising. We are really more of a demand gen platform. We're really about the advertising piece and making sure the advertising is working and has ROI. And we do that through a combination of the audience building, but then also through that campaign experimentation that we kind of touched on a little bit when I was showing the platform. But the one thing I did show is, we have all these libraries of all of your assets that would go into ads, audiences, libraries of videos, images, ad text, headlines, offers, all these things. And you just go in and you select the ones you want. And then metadata goes and it launches all these in a one-to-one-to-one campaign manner. Across all these channels. You might have hundreds of experiments, and metadata is just monitoring every single one of those line items. And because it doesn't put them all into like a campaign group like the channels have, it can optimize very discreetly across channels and across experiments to really drive and keep money in the things that are driving revenue and take money out of the things that aren't. And so that's really where we were focused. We had this ROI focus from the very beginning. We also had a no black box kind of approach from the very beginning. We wanted people to see exactly what's going on, exactly the changes that we're making. We don't mark up any of our, when we're building ads in the display platform, we don't mark up our advertising cost or anything like that. Very, very transparent. So yeah, that's the main difference I would say between us and like a ABM platform.
Okay. So it's a flat, you're just passing that cost to the ad directly to the end user. Great. So how do you guys?
We're just operating the channels, honestly. We're just operating the channels on behalf of them, almost like the person, but we're just using the API to make all these changes. And so they just see exactly what's in their ad platform, and we just mirror that in here. But then we're able to take it down past clicks and cost per click all the way into like pipeline and revenue because we're attached to all these other internal systems.
Okay, right on. So that helps me understand kind of how you differ then from like where that ABM layer sits. That's helpful. So is there anybody else in your space? It's like that you're like you say, oh well, I am competing with these guys.
Yeah, there are some bits and pieces. So like we compete with Clearbit on like the advertising, on the audience building piece. And then Primer is also kind of getting in the audience building and a little bit of the campaign part as well. But usually it's a component of what we have and not the whole thing. So right now, like our main competitor, honestly, is status quo. People just continue to do things the way they are and spending too much money and people time on it. Sometimes it's agencies we compete with. So yeah, that's oftentimes what it is. Not usually like a direct competitor of what we do. Not yet. I'm hoping for one, because then I think actually it would make my job maybe a little bit easier. Because like right now, you don't want to be a category of one, and we're kind of a little bit like that. So yeah, I kind of hope that somebody comes up and gives me some challenge.
Okay. All right. So now I want to ask about MetaMatch as well, because I noticed you've got that's just rolled out. So tell me real briefly about kind of what that is and what the vision is for that.
Yeah, so MetaMatch is our targeting platform. And so we have 5 patents around this technology, actually 4 on this and then 1 on the main platform. MetaMatch, we've basically licensed data from 12 different providers plus our own data. And we've created this huge B2B corporate to personal data graph. And what that means is I can use all these kinds of business segmentation filters like industry, company size, annual revenue, all the way down to like intent data, technographic data, just all of these different data sources. And then add on job titles of the people that I'm targeting there. And then what MetaMatch does, it matches all those profiles to their personal email addresses. And then we take all those personal email addresses and we load those into the channel to create the matched audience. Obviously, we all use our personal email addresses to log into things like LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. And so that's why our match rates are so incredible, because for every row of a business, like for my row in our database, Jason at metadata.io, there's 5 different personal email addresses that they have of me that we would take those and upload all 5 of them, because one of them is, probably certain to match. And so, and then we have dynamic audiences in there as well, where you can attach the Salesforce report and just read from that every day, and your audience updates, automatically. And so it really unlocks, audiences, especially on Facebook, because you can't do really business targeting on Facebook. And so we really, really unlock Facebook and YouTube from an audience perspective. And then we complement LinkedIn.
Okay, cool. That's interesting. I'm going to be excited to see that, because it looked like you guys, like you carved that off as a separate entity and buyable for, for like well, not necessarily at an enterprise rate, from what I could tell. So
we just peeled that off into PLG, like a free 30-day trial, and then all like a couple $100 a month, month to month.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about pricing. So how do I buy it? What are the breaks and all that? Like, if I say, oh, by golly, I gotta get this thing, I want to bring it in. What's that look like?
Yeah. So the full platform doesn't make sense unless you're spending probably $20,000 a month at least in paid social advertising, and then, or $50,000 across all your spend. Because we can, the full platform is a little bit pricey in terms of like a tech stack price. And so you're looking at anywhere between $50,000 to $60,000+ a year for the full platform. The targeting part, like I mentioned, free 30-day trial, 3 audiences a month for $300, $600, $1,000 a month, and you can just like go with it. And then the web personalization product, we sell that separately. And I think that's $20,000 a year, something like that. We price that competitively because it's not yet quite as full featured as some of the other technologies out there like Mutiny and that kind of thing, but very, very close. And so we do offer kind of a discount on that.
I was going to ask about Mutiny, because as soon as I heard this web personalization stuff, I know they've really got that. So
they have a great platform. Yeah. And something we are aspiring to, but we're doing a little differently, kind of a little bit of a different take.
Okay. Well, that'll be exciting to see once that hits the streets. I can't wait. I'll be following that very, very closely. All right. So I think we've got a pretty good idea kind of where you fit, where you sit, how you're different, how you're not an ABM platform, what you're trying to do, what the vision is. Man, okay, we're a little bit over time, but given my gaffe early on, I'm going to take it. And it is,
I don't know what time is it.
It's 4:04 p.m. So that brings us to our closing segment, which is our 1-minute tip of the day. And I do want to say before that, that our job seeker of the day is Lisa Renee Pence, who thinks differently and has proven that, as I said on the introduction, by the fact that she's using a personal brand around her job search, which I think is very clever. And hire her for when she shows up. I mean, we're all trying to make it work. All right. So with that, sir, your 1-minute tip of the day, I'm going to say, let's go. And you're going to hit it. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to take that to the bank, and then we're going to be done. All right.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
All right. So here's my tip. It's around audience building. And what the tip is, find your own source of data to build your audiences from. If you use the same sources that we all use, and there's not a lot of sources out there, if you use the same sources as everybody else, you're going to basically be targeting the same exact people. And so, example, I need to know how much prospects are spending on LinkedIn, for example. There's no real source of data for that. There's also no source of data to just understand how many ads somebody has out on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn will show you. And so I've written a script that will go out to LinkedIn company page, go to their posts, ads, scroll down, count all their ads, and use that as a proxy for how much they're spending in LinkedIn. And that gives me a good idea if they'd be right for my platform. and that has been one of the best sources and like one of the most like highest converting sources for us. So I always say, get very, very, and this is where it all starts with audience building, get very, very specific and unique around your audiences and how you build those and the data that you use, and you'll separate yourself from the competition.
Awesome. Well, let's take that to the bank, man. I appreciate that that tip. We're going to wrap that up here after we close up. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on to the 344 live, because this is my first go at any kind of platform or any kind of tech play, and I really want to bring these kinds of offers into this environment. So I appreciate you just kind of hanging out and going guinea pig with me here. I can't tell you, how much that means to me, and can't wait to see you just in a couple days, right? And hang out, and have a couple drinks. Yeah, so it's going to be awesome. All right, man. So with that, we're a few minutes over, so I'm going to have to sign off because that is my commitment to the audience. They know that they get to take off and start their weekend. So with that, have a great weekend, everybody, and we're going to talk soon. All right, take care. Bye.